A spacecraft from the United Arab Emirates swung into orbit around Mars on Tuesday in a triumph for the Arab world's first interplanetary mission. Ground controllers at the UAE Space Center in Dubai rose to their feet and broke into applause when word came that the craft, called Amal, Arabic for hope, had reached the end of its 7-month, 300 million mile journey and had begun circling the red planet, where it will gather detailed data on Mars' atmosphere. The orbiter fired its main engines for 27 minutes in an intricate, high-stakes maneuver that slowed the craft enough for it to be captured by Mars' gravity. It took a nail-biting 11 minutes for the signal confirming success to reach Earth. Tensions were high. Over the years, Mars has been the graveyard for a multitude of missions from various countries. A visibly relieved Omran Sharaf, the mission's director, declared, "To the people of the UAE and Arab and Islamic nations, we announce the success of the UAE reaching Mars." 2 more unmanned spacecraft from the US and China are following close behind, set to arrive at Mars over the next several days. All 3 missions were launched in July to take advantage of the close alignment of Earth and Mars. Amal's arrival puts the UAE in a league of just 5 space agencies in history that have pulled off a functioning Mars mission. As the country's first venture beyond Earth's orbit, the flight is a point of intense pride for the oil-rich nation as it seeks a future in space. An ebullient Mohammed bin Zayed, the UAE's day-to-day ruler, was on hand at mission control and said, "Congratulations to the leadership and people of the UAE, your joy is indescribable." About 60% of all Mars missions have ended in failure, crashing, burning up or otherwise falling short, in a testament to the complexity of interplanetary travel and the difficulty of making a descent through Mars' thin atmosphere. A combination orbiter and lander from China is scheduled to reach the planet on Wednesday. It will circle Mars until the rover separates and attempts to land in May to look for signs of ancient life. A rover from the US named Perseverance is set to join the crowd next week, aiming for a landing February 18th. It will be the first leg in a decade-long US-European project to bring Mars rocks back to Earth to be examined for evidence the planet once harbored microscopic life. If it pulls this off, China will become only the 2nd country to land successfully on Mars. The US has done it 8 times, the first almost 45 years ago. A NASA rover and lander are still working on the surface. For months, Amal's journey had been tracked by the UAE's state-run media with rapturous enthusiasm. Landmarks across the UAE, including Burj Khalifa, the tallest tower on Earth, have glowed red to mark the spacecraft's anticipated arrival. Billboards depicting Amal Tower over Dubai's highways. This year is the 50th anniversary of the country's founding, casting even more attention on Amal. If all goes as planned, Amal over the next 2 months will settle into an exceptionally high, elliptical orbit of 13,670 miles by 27,340 miles, 22,000 kilometers by 44,000 kilometers, from which it will survey the mostly carbon dioxide atmosphere around the entire planet, at all times of day and in all seasons. It joins 6 spacecraft already operating around Mars, 3 US, 2 European and 1 Indian. Amal had to perform a series of turns and engine firings to maneuver into orbit, reducing its speed to 11,200 miles per hour, 18,000 kilometers per hour, from over 75,000 miles per hour, 121,000 kilometers per hour. The control room full of Emirati engineers held their breath as Amal disappeared behind Mars' dark side. Then it re-emerged from the planet's shadow, and contact was restored on schedule. Screens at the Space Center revealed that Amal had managed to do what had eluded many missions over the decades. "Anything that slightly goes wrong and you lose the spacecraft," said Sir Al-Amiri, Minister of State for Advanced Technology and the chair of the UAE Space Agency. The success delivers a tremendous boost to the UAE's space ambitions. The country's first astronaut rocketed into space in 2019, hitching a ride to the International Space Station with the Russians. That's 58 years after the Soviet Union and the US launched astronauts. Thomas Hussain, NASA's science mission chief, tweeted congratulations, saying, "Your bold endeavor to explore the red planet will inspire many others to reach for the stars. We hope to join you at Mars soon with Perseverance." In developing Amal, the UAE chose to collaborate with more experienced partners instead of going it alone or buying the spacecraft elsewhere. Its engineers and scientists worked with researchers at the University of Colorado, the University of California at Berkeley, and Arizona State University. The spacecraft was assembled at Boulder, Colorado, before being sent to Japan for launch last July. The car-size Amal cost $200 million to build and launch. That excludes operating costs at Mars. The Chinese and US expeditions are considerably more complicated and expensive because of their rovers. NASA's Perseverance mission totals $3 billion. The UAE, a federation of 7 kingdoms, is looking for Amal to ignite the imaginations of the country's scientists and its youth, and help prepare for a future when the oil runs out. Today you have households of every single age group passionate about space, understanding a lot of science, said Al-Amiri, the chair of the space agency. This has opened a broad range of possibilities for everyone in the UAE and also, I truly hope, within the Arab world.